Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Welcome.
Welcome.
Nice to see you. My sincere condolences for David. I'm really sad for what's happened. I've lost two brothers this year, so I know exactly what it's like. I lost my older brother 4 months ago, and I lost my younger brother almost a year ago. And I go to the graveyard every day.
What's happened to us, to our whole communities, is terrible. We've got an opportunity to, certainly for me, to make David's death not in vain.
Absolutely. I'd like to introduce to you a very brave gentleman that's come down to sort of see us today. It's Mike Haines, the brother of David Haines, to speak to you guys. The first thing we shared in common today was a tear. So I know exactly what it's like, but to lose a brother so brutally, I just can't imagine. So, you know, for Mike to come along, it's just amazing.
I'm sure that you're all aware of what happened to David. It was played out in the press for the whole world to see. 18 months of hell. Every day waiting for a phone call, waiting for news. We hoped and prayed that he would come home safe, but in our hearts we knew that it wasn't. And then when the videos started, David was in the background of one of the videos, and then the hell really did begin. And then that night when we got the call that he was no longer with us, that was excuse me, that was difficult. I had to tell my family. We had my mum and dad, my aunt and uncle, and I had to tell them. And then I had to tell his wife and his daughter, and then cousins and all our family. That night will stay with me forever. The blackness that's in your stomach, you know, every day there's not an hour goes past without thoughts. And one of the hardest things, we had some amazing people working with us who were trying to do their best to get David safe. And they were trying to prepare us, but nothing can prepare you for it.
There's nothing more I can add to that, except I just want to ask any of you if you want to ask Mike any questions.
It's kind of just hard to get questions out, to be honest, and how you're supposed to address these kind of situations.
Yeah.
I just want to know, what was your initial reaction when you found out your brother had died?
My immediate reaction was what I wanted to do was to run away, so I didn't have to tell my family. I had prepared, with help, a statement that went out on the TV, and my biggest fear that one of your family walking down the street would have been hurt physically, emotionally by some self-righteous well-wisher and revenge.
We're just so overwhelmed by you being here, just making us feel like we aren't a part of the problem, because sometimes dealing with the problem, you can stand up, but at the back of your mind you do fear what other people think of you. You fear what's going to happen in 10 years. Am I going to be able to walk around on the road with my abaya and my scarf? Am I going to be at risk of getting my abaya pulled off? It makes you fear that, because I love this country. This is my country, and I don't want to feel like that I'm not a part of it.
it's not this polarization of our different communities growing farther and farther apart isn't just between Muslims and white people, you know, or Caucasians or Christians. You know, it's turning Muslim against Muslim. It's turning Jews against Muslims, turning Muslims against Jews, against Christians, against whites, against blacks, against pinks, blues and red spotted. You know, that's their aim, to destroy the fabric of what makes us good.
How do you find the strength and the courage actually to overcome the feeling of anger you must have felt at some point?
I will be perfectly honest with you. There is a part of me deep down, in the deep dark night when I am awake, thinking about the horror of what happened to David, could hate. But who can I hate? Hate doesn't do anything. Hate divides. If I hate, they win. The only way that we can defeat them is by not using hate, by fighting them on moral grounds.
How do you feel that you've managed to stay away from like going to the dark side and that? Yeah, because I don't really know how to describe it.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
My brother would be haunting me for the rest of my bleeding days if I did not do something to make our lives better, so that his death was not in vain.
There is a message for you guys that it could have been like what happened when Lee Rigby passed away, was brutally murdered. When you had the EDL saying, we are going to do this for Lee Rigby, we're going to do this. Somebody else could have very easily, or another group could have very easily stood up and said, we're going to do this in the name of David Haines because this is what they've done, and took it out on another level and continue to disrupt, right, our communities and allowed ISIS to win and accomplish what they did. But for him to come here to allow you to sort of, you know, shake hands with him, to be your friend, right? It's saying no to ISIS, and it's saying no to those others that could have stood up in his name and said, not in my brother's name and not in our name. You need to learn from this, is that the battle against evil and the battle against for good is a very powerful battle. It takes very brave individuals to do that. What would you like to say to these young people and leave us with today?
I suppose the message that I want to finish on, and this is so difficult, instead of closing in, protecting. Open your arms and welcome people into your life. If each person here can open their arms and get somebody else to do that, it's that whole ripple effect. And in a very short time, we can start something here today that can really make a difference.
Mike, honestly, my friend.
Thank you.